Think you know everything about Minecraft? Well, let's put that to the test. I've got 30 mind-blowing facts that most players don't know. So grab a notepad, keep track of how many you already knew, and drop your score down in the comments. And hey, if you're new to the game, this is the perfect way to level up your knowledge fast. Stick around, because I promise the last few facts will make your jaw drop. Alright, let's jump in. Fact 1. If you place 2 dispensers into a flat surface facing outwards and then put a mangrove trapdoor over both of them and then start to move around, it looks like eyes following you. That's quite creepy. Fact 2. If you ever get lost in your Minecraft survival world, and I never get lost obviously, then all you need to do is look at the clouds. The clouds move from east to west, so those clouds are going in that direction there, and if I bring up my F3 screen, that's west. Try that in your own world. I promise you it works every single time. Although, fact 3, if you use the command game rule do daylight cycle false, that will stop the sun moving, but it also stops the clouds moving too. They are frozen in position. So you can't use them to work out what direction you move in unless you set it back to true again and then they start moving again. That's quite weird. Fact 5. The lava pools of the world have got that great hubbly bubbly noise, but it can get a little bit annoying if you're trying to do some work nearby, or if you're using lava in a trap, it's going to be a complete giveaway. However, did you know that if you cover up your lava with string, it completely muffles that sound, which keeps either the lava a secret from your enemies or stops you going completely mad? Listen. Silence. Fact 5. You can't really place lava underwater. It turns into obsidian. No, that's not the fact. The fact is if you place a cauldron and then you can fill it with lava and it stays lit. That's just odd. What is it with Minecraft physics? It's totally mental. Fact 6. If you place water underneath lava like this, the lava will turn the water into stone. And again, that's not the fact. That's just a fact that you already know. However, you can change that. The fact is, if you place the water down, then put a sign inside the water, so it's waterlogged, and then place the lava above it, well, that lava's just going to say suspended above the water. That sign is holding the lava up, even though the water is above the sign. Again, Minecraft physics, it's just bonkers. Fact 7. Cats don't take fall damage even when they fall onto dripstone. And I'll prove it to you. I'm not being cruel, cats. I'm just proving a point to the audience. Look, there we go. Have a nice fall. Not one problem. Not one of them. They're all like, what's going on? So it's pointy. I don't care. Fact 8. Wolves run from llamas. They're absolutely petrified of them. And what's more, the llamas don't much like the wolves either. Yep, they spit them. Fact 9. Using a wooden pressure plate, you can open the door. And no, that isn't the fact, because when you get off the pressure plate, the door closes again. Well, what if you want to keep it open? Fact 9 has got you covered. If you place a item frame down in front of the door and then a pressure plate on the block not within the item frame, when you then come and stand on it, it opens up just like before. But if you get off of it, that item frame, because it's an entity, is good enough to keep that door open. Now you could argue you might as well just not bother putting a door, but what if this has got some other redstone potential? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Fact 10. Dyed leather armor is a really good way of expressing your personality in Minecraft, especially when you add an armor trim. But again, that's not the fact. Did you know that if you dye your leather armor and then dye it again with a different color, and then maybe even dye it again with another different color or that same second color, you can get many shades of armor. You don't have to stick to the standard 16. You can end up with hundreds and hundreds. So why limit yourself to just a few sets? Experiment with different dyes and see how many different shades you can come up with. And let me know how you did in the comments below. Are you keeping track of your score? Remember to let me know what your score out of 30 is in the comments down below so I can see if you are the master. And if you've got this far, maybe thinking about liking and subscribing. Thank you so much. Curing a zombie villager with a potion of weakness and also a golden apple is a great way to get yourself some really cheap trades in Minecraft. But did you know, if you surround that villager with either 14 iron bars or 7 beds, it massively decreases the time it takes the villager to cure, which is really handy because sometimes this can take ages. And we're busy people. Fact 12, campfires are a great way of getting moving smoke particles so you can use them in chimneys or fireplaces. But they only go up about 10 blocks, so using them to see a long way away isn't necessarily great use of them. However, there is another option. If you place down a hay bale first and then you put your campfire on top of it, those smoke particles are going to go nearly 3 times higher than they would without the hay bale, making them a really good signal fire, meaning you can see your base from miles away. Fact 13, a torch and a lever are exactly the same texture except for that glowing tip. It's like a lever when you're holding it in your hand is a torch that's not lit. Look at that, that's just cheeky. Fact 14, did you know that lily pads will only ever orient in the same direction on the same block? No matter how many times you place it down, the lily pads will only ever face in the direction they faced the first time you put them on. And that's because they're set by the seed and not by the way you place them down. No matter whether I place that one that way round, or that way round, or place another one there and place it that way round, it's always going to be placed in the same orientation. Fact 15, making a mushroom stew using a wooden bowl and 1 each of each coloured mushroom will give you a mushroom stew that will, when eaten, replace 3 hunger bars, which is great, that's not too bad. But you can improve it with something that is everywhere, the dandelion. Grabbing just 1 dandelion and adding that to the previous recipe of 1 bowl, 1 of each mushroom and 1 dandelion will give you a suspicious stew, which looks suspicious, but if you eat it, will restore loads of hunger horches and give you so much extra energy. Definitely get yourself a dandelion. If mushroom stew is on the menu, you just need to add a little bit of flour. Fact 16, you can set fire to snowballs by throwing them straight through a lava flow, because that makes sense, right? Fact 17, and we are in the Nether Fortress. Did you know placing powdered snow around a blaze spawner is a really good way of killing them? They'll spawn on top of the snow and then sink down into the snow. And just like any other player, once they get too cold, they start taking damage. And once they start taking damage, and it's a lot of damage because this is snow, they'll die, and anything dropped will be inside that snow. Although remember, you do have to have hit the blaze first for you to be able to get a rod, so be aware of that. Fact 18, if you die in lava but you're holding a totem, you get 40 seconds of regeneration and also fire resistance, which gives you a chance of getting out of the hot sauce and getting all your hearts back so as you don't die twice. It didn't always used to be that way. If you fell in the lava and you got a totem, that was it. You were done. You were instantly dead anyway. I quite like the fact that I'm on fire. That makes me look quite cool. Fact 19. If an animal catches fire, you know, accidentally, it will head straight to the nearest water source to try and put itself out. It's a really good way of getting your animals to go in the direction you want them to, although make sure that they have got enough hearts to be able to get there. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something that's a little bit more in kin with a dinner plate than a wall producer. Fact 20, if you put down open water in an icy biome, it's gonna freeze after a little while. No, that isn't the fact. The fact is that if you waterlog leaf blocks, that water will not freeze. It is not accessible to the icy coldness, which means it can irrigate your farmland if you're in an icy biome really well, and you won't end up getting your crops pop off or your crops slowing down in their growth, which would be terrible, wouldn't it? So yet another example of where leaf blocks are your friend. Fact 21, when a rail turns a corner, it's a pickaxe. Fact 22. Did you know that when a witch takes damage and it wants to drink a potion, it has to lift its nose out of the way so it can get to its mouth? Fact 23. Some mobs see the world very differently. If you're in spectator mode and you left click on a mob, you go into the mob and you see the world the same way they do. Look, this spider has got really weird octovision, different ways of seeing the world through its 8 different eyes. An Enderman, if you can actually catch it, sees the world in kind of this weird, very opposite colour, inverted colour world. That's, well, you can barely see it, right? Left click on a creeper and it goes into this really odd green colour. I think I prefer the Enderman. And if you click on a skeleton, oh, that's just like the way you see the world. Well, that's boring. Fact 24. You can combine blocks to make brand new blocks. For example, if you mix cobblestone with nether quartz in this 2x2 pattern, you'll get diorite. And if you mix diorite with quartz, you'll end up with granite. Although that doesn't make sense. Not the fact that it makes granite, but the fact that someone would even want to. Diorite is just bird poo. Fact 25. Endermen are the only thing that will spawn naturally in the overworld, the nether, and the end, making them the one truly interdimensional mob. Fact 26. Because minecarts are entities, you can send them and any containers they might have in through the nether. And when you go through the portal, you'll see they're waiting for you on the other side. The same is true if any mob is in that minecart. Off you go, villager. They both go through that portal. When I come out the other side, my villager is sat there waiting for me. Sorry, fella. This is your new home. And what's even more useful is if you send your minecart through your portal and then follow it through, and you have a rail that continues on, the minecart will continue along the rail. So you can make massive transportation systems. And if you join that up with another portal going back to the overworld, you can send them long distances, but not going that far in the nether. And it can get super complicated. Fact 27. Are you fed up with your house walls looking flat, even when you've textured them? Don't worry, there is a really easy solution. Replace your inner blocks with walls. It can give some really great shapes to your walls with that indent, and it also works beautifully if you incorporate glass. Look, it absolutely flushes out. Fact 28. There's something really spooky about Lily of the Valley. No matter which way you look at it, if you turn and turn and turn, it's always drooping to the left. It can never turn around and droop in the opposite direction. It just keeps regenerating itself on the left-hand side, and you can never actually get to the opposite side of the flower. It's like it's dimensionally locked. I find that really strange. Fact 29. Firework rockets in Minecraft can be really cool, but they always pretty much go straight up. But you can change that with a single block of water flowing in both directions. By placing the fireworks at different points in the water stream, the rockets will be pushed off at different angles depending on how close to the source block they're put in. This widens your firework display. Ooh, pretty. And finally, fact 30. You might think that all skeletons are equally scary, but I'm telling you now, not every skeleton is created equal. 11% of skeletons are left-handed, just like this guy in the middle. Pretty rare, but they still are. And their arrows are just as likely to kill you. So there you have 30 Minecraft facts that perhaps you didn't know. Slap your score out of 30 in the comments down below. And whilst you're there, if you've enjoyed the content, maybe consider liking the video and subscribing if you haven't done already. It really helps out the channel. And I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.